Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and this is Poland Daily Culture. Today we start a series of great Polish writers. This poet has as much influence on Polish literature as Lewandowski had on football. There is a simple test of checking how Polish you are, and that is to recite first few verses of Pan Tadeusz. I am talking, of course, about Adam Mickiewicz, and if you don't know him, it means you skipped too many classes in high school.
But the path you must tread to new life will not be easy, English.
We're talking about Adam Mickiewicz, and from the previous episodes you could learn of the very beginning of his life. But right now we're still within the times of his education. He was initially taught by private tutors, but later sent to Dominican school.
Dominican school?
Dominican school, yes. And that
with
is
the monks, right?
With the monks.
I see. He studied in a monastery sort of atmosphere anyway.
Part of this, but it gives you much better. You don't go after girls, but you more focus on learning. That's what.
Oh, right. It stops you chasing women.
Absolutely.
Or young ladies. They wouldn't be women at that point. They're under 18. Yeah. Like you. Yeah.
I wish. Maybe I don't wish, actually.
18 again. No, you are 18. That's right. You were 18 this year.
Every woman is 18 for the whole eternity.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
But Mickiewicz.
Taking notes.
Mickiewicz followed the curriculum of something which is called Polish Commission of National Education. And that is actually a very important institution because it was the first ministry of education in the world. Very hard curriculum.
Oh, right. Yeah, I read that one time. I don't recently, actually.
And you needed to learn a lot of things: Latin, Greek, poetry, mathematics. So it was hard to pass through. It was very hard. You need to be a smart kid. And what we've learned, Mickiewicz was a mediocre student, unfortunately.
He was average.
He was average.
He was just not a great student.
Wingardium Leviosa. Stop.
You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa.
Mickiewicz managed to pass his A-levels and went to Vilnius, as other of his colleagues, to sign up as a student and start studying at the Imperial University of Vilnius to be a teacher.
He wanted to be a teacher. Well, that's a good that's like performing all the time, isn't it? You're teaching the right subject.
If you are a passionate teacher, absolutely, it's performing
if you're
all
teaching
the time.
literature, for example, you have to
actually
be interesting.
Teachers of literature has huge impact on your soul. It's huge importance, I think, even much bigger than mathematics, because they shape your sensitivity. They shape your sense of perceiving the world.
Your appreciation of what's around you. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, if you think back, a lot of your teachers in this area, the good ones, are people that you still remember. That's right. At least it's true in my case. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But Mickiewicz didn't. In Vilnius, all the trouble started because he didn't go picking up girls and drinking beer, but he preferred company of young patriotic boys, and that's when they started something called Philomath Society. So they were all patriotic.
Hey, wait a second. I'm a little confused. He wasn't chasing girls, he preferred the company of boys? What are you trying to say here?
He was patriotic. He didn't have only butterflies in his stomach.
For the ladies?
Yes.
He had butterflies in his stomach for the flag. That's the point. For your freedom and ours would become his famous
There was
motto.
no Poland.
Yeah.
You have to understand this.
Yeah.
First time
I think it's important to explain that. There was something to love even more important than chasing girls when you're a teenager.
Yes, some historical
Which was
background is needed in this moment, at least for some. And it is to say that Poland lost its independence in 1794 during the Third Partition. And once again, Poland was just divided by three aggressors, and that is Russia, Prussia, in Austria. Two German-speaking countries, one Russian-speaking country. And shoop, no Poland.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Which was tragic, of course, and
especially tragic because Poland was the first country pushing freedom from or limitations on monarchy in the whole of Europe.
And that might be actually a mistake in those times because they were not. So
I mean, if you accept Magna Carta and the English
Noble
stuff was there first, limiting the nobles, limiting the rights of the king, but it was still a different thing.
Still a different thing, absolutely.
Much more democratic and republican sense of what was going on in Poland, led by Kosciuszko and other people. You know.
Yes, and in Russian annexation, people were oppressed. Polish language was banned from schools, and the revolutionary atmosphere grew among young people. Everyone wanted to take sword or a pistol and go fighting.
Go take up arms and go get the bad guys. I mean, this is a tradition of any country, actually, which is invaded and oppressed. I mean, you expect people to after a while, rise up, particularly if there's division of language. I mean, language and custom, if it's different, then this is what leads to these revolts. Or in the case of China, and for example, invading Vietnam, they're quite close, but still it doesn't work. Or Mongolia trying to invade Japan. Some people would say these people are rather close, but there's a lot more difference there than meets the eye to us who are from the West. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's the same among the Slavics.
Absolutely the same. That was what I was trying to say. Thank you.
And Mickiewicz was, of course, a great patriot, and he wanted to fight. And that's why he joined the Villama Society, and was one of the founders of this society. And that is all described in Dziady, in English translation, Forefathers' Eve, which is considered the greatest drama ever written in Polish language. And it's absolute masterpiece. Well, have you ever even tried to read Dziady?
No.
So I thought, but there is no good translation to English when it comes to.
Maybe I should do one.
Well, you would get a lot of price.
Somebody would. I could find a publisher to pay me to do that. Yeah.
Not 100% sure about this because this time is not.
I don't think so. I think you have to be a professor of Mickiewicz.
Even
Mickiewicz-ology.
in this case, that's a lot of work, but still, fingers crossed because it's needed.
How many volumes are there?
Well.
Or how long is it?
It is a second part, third part, and fourth part.
Okay. So it's hundreds of pages, would I be right to say?
Even less. It's not when it comes to how many pages it has, the strength of
it's just the difficulty of translating the essence of what it is, right? I'll look at it. Yeah. You must show it to me.
But Forefathers' Eve is ranked next to such poems as Goethe's Faust or Byron's Manfred, and is an absolute masterpiece. Mickiewicz, if he lived in modern times, he would be a serious candidate for a Nobel Prize and definitely a contributor to Playboy magazine if it still existed. But unfortunately, he lived in.
Why would he be a Nobel Prize? I understand. Why a contributor to Playboy magazine? Are you suggesting that he was a man about town? As he got older, he liked the.
A little bit true, but first of all,
he was a bit of a Don
Playboy
Juan?
in the best
Don Juan?
time of best time of this magazine used to have really good.
They had really good writers, yeah.
Exactly.
As well as being a sort of men's club of, obsessions of men.
Probably the price, a little bit of women body and some good literature. Perfect mixture.
But he was a man who definitely enjoyed the company of women, yeah.
So if you would give Nobel Prize to Mickiewicz, heads up and write this in the comments on YouTube or Twitter, and hopefully you will stay for other episodes because Adam's life, of course, didn't end up in Vilnius.
Nope.
And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.